Arrest warrants are issued for two men who've been accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old victim. The warrants are for DeMarcus June and Devin Atkins. Both are facing one count of first-degree rape. A concerned school administrator was notified of the alleged actions of these men. If you have any information on their whereabouts, please contact Shreveport Police.
A man has been arrested and charged with kidnapping and the rape of a 12-year-old girl. Court documents say on April 22nd, this man, Christian Cedeno Mejia, went to the home of a girl in southwest Columbus after having personal knowledge that her mother was not there. Later, the girl's mother returned home after receiving a call from her daughter and confronted the man before he ran from the home.
Breaking news, an Ocala high school teacher is accused of sexual misconduct against students on the school campus. Police say they arrested Bernard Smith yesterday after multiple students reported allegations of inappropriate conduct to a school resource officer. Detectives say Smith, who is a criminal justice teacher at Westport High, inappropriately touched students and made sexual comments. He is also a former law enforcement officer. Investigators are now asking anyone else who had similar experiences with Smith to come forward.
4 o'clock, a North Texas-based rapper is in jail this afternoon. 30-year-old Yella Beezy is in the Collin County Jail. His legal name is Marquise DeAndre Conway. We know that he was arrested in Plano, but are waiting to confirm the exact charges. TMZ is reporting that he's facing 3 charges: felony sexual assault, felony abandoned endangered child, and misdemeanor unlawful carrying a weapon. 3 years ago, he was shot 3 times while on the Sam Rayburn Tollway in Louisville. That rapper told a New York radio show that he was on his way home from the nightclub.
A breaking news alert tonight. A child rape suspect is now in custody. We've got Haley Wilgus at the WKRN.com alert desk with details on the dangerous encounter with police. Haley.
Alex, Metro Police tell us this investigation started last week after a 12-year-old victim came forward saying a 19-year-old had been raping her for almost a year. The suspect, identified as Trayvon Glenn, reportedly threatened the girl and her family with a gun. Investigators tracked Glenn to Fallbrook Apartments yesterday, where he tried to elude officers but was ultimately captured. Police tell us Glenn was armed with 2 firearms. They also found cocaine and crack in his jacket, and both tested positive for fentanyl. He's now being held on multiple charges in the Davidson County Detention Center.
Breaking news at 5:30. We are learning more from court records about the man accused of sexually assaulting a teen last month. He is now facing hate crime charges. He's facing a charge of kidnapping a minor motivated by bias or hatred toward the victim. Police say 42-year-old Willie Collins forcefully sexually assaulted the teen while he was walking to school. Detectives say the boy was able to fight off Collins and get away. Collins was on house arrest at the time of the attack. Tracking his ankle monitor was a critical factor in getting him into custody. Collins has a competency hearing set for later this month.
Former Hillsborough school administrator has been convicted of misdemeanor simple assault after a teen accused him of an unwanted foot rub at a gym in Rhode Island. Olayinka Alege worked as a school leader in Hillsborough County and more recently in Providence, Rhode Island. That's where he was found guilty of giving a teen boy a foot rub against his will. It comes more than a decade after allegations from when he worked at King High School in Tampa. Students there said he would pop their toes as punishment for bad grades. 10 Investigates Jenna Bourne uncovered that Hillsborough schools knew about those accusations in 2009, but the district kept promoting him anyway for the next decade. You can watch that entire episode in our YouTube series, What's Brewing, to learn more about the records Jenna found showing that at least 8 boys and young men have accused Alege of unwanted foot touching over the past 12 years. You can scan this QR code with your camera app on your phone. A link will pop up and take you directly to that story.
Philip Worrell, Wilmer Ramos, Niall Campbell. They are barely teenagers, just 14 years old, but all of them are now charged as adults. Baltimore police say these 3 plus a 12-year-old are responsible for the rape and assault of a 19-year-old woman who stepped off an MTA bus 2 weeks ago on West Franklin Street. 2 of the teens were caught on MTA surveillance video, and all 4 were arrested late last week. Detectives say they stalked their victim after she got off the bus, flashed what appeared to be a gun, and forced her into an alley full of trash, broken bottles, and discarded mattresses. It was here, police say, the woman was raped. The 3 suspects being treated as adults each have 44 charges against them. Various degrees of rape, assault, kidnapping, perverted practice, and robbery. Currently, the teens are waiting for their bail review, and with courts closed for the holiday, charging documents were not available. Police did say the victim survived the attack thanks to alert neighbors who interrupted the assault. Folks in the area are thankful.
I'm just very happy that the girl, unfortunately, is still living, you know what I mean? And I really feel her sympathy, man, because it's very dangerous out here.
No attorneys were listed for either of the suspects in court records, and all three remained in central booking through the holiday weekend, awaiting their bail review. The Baltimore Police Department declined an on-camera interview about the arrests. More details are expected as the charging documents are made public this week. In Baltimore, Brian Kubler, WMAR 2 News.
And now to a safety alert after a teacher is arrested.
He is facing charges for alleged sex crimes against at least 2 students. Local 10's Alexis Frazier is in the newsroom with the disturbing details.
Yeah, 2 young students have come forward accusing their elementary school teacher of inappropriate behavior and sexual assault. 29-year-old Eric Givens appeared in bond court this morning. He is facing serious charges, including child molestation and battery. He was arrested on Friday in connection to the most recent accusation. A 10-year-old at Theodore R. and Thelma A. Gibson Charter School claims that she was in the 5th grade when her teacher, Mr. G, sexually assaulted her inside of his classroom. And another 10-year-old says he texted her inappropriate messages several times. Back in 2018, another young student at St. Mary Cathedral School reportedly made similar accusations. The Archdiocese of Miami has since released a statement saying, in part, Mr. Eric Givens was employed as a teacher at St. Mary Cathedral School in August 2018. However, due to inappropriate behavior, Mr. Givens was relieved from his teacher position a few months later, not completing the full school year. A spokesperson says police were immediately notified and that school officials offered counseling to the student at the time. Theodore R. and Thelma A. Gibson Charter School in Miami has yet to respond to the recent alarming accusations. Givens, however, has been ordered to stay away from those victims. He was given a $7,500 bond in one case and no bond for the other. Jenny?
Now in the hunt for a man who sexually assaulted a teenager yesterday. Now we're going to check in with the desk assignment manager, Mark Liu, joining us live with the update.
Yeah, good morning, Serene and Marcy. A big update to the story that we've been following since last night. LAPD now confirms that they have arrested the man that they were looking for in connection with a sexual assault at a park in El Sereno from yesterday. Let's talk about how this all happened. We have some pretty compelling video to talk about. This is the video that was released yesterday to our assignment desk. My colleague Mike Rogers got an email from LAPD that said, hey, we need the public's help in finding this man. At the time, they did not know who he was, but he was wanted for taking this teen and sexually assaulting this victim in a park in El Sereno. Now, our reporter Lori Perez did the story last night for our viewers on CBS 2 and KCAL. This morning, the LAPD confirms this man is now in custody. We don't know who he is or where he was taken into custody. Why don't you come out to my screen? I can tell you sort of where this all happened. If you can see here, this is central Los Angeles. This community of El Sereno was where this all went down. The assault happened here on Klamath Street. Video of that suspect was taken from a homeowner's security camera down here on Norrell Street. Now, we are going to continue to follow this story and get as much as we can on information about this suspect and bring it to you as it becomes available. Back to you.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. The LA City Council is looking for a way forward.
Breaking news right now from Highland Park.
Police here say they have arrested a suspect in the rape of an 11-year-old girl. Let's go straight to our Nima Shafee with the very latest on this case. Nima.
Alicia and Vic, you may recall this from December 10th last month. In December, a young girl, 11 years old, running to the school bus because she had woken up late when a man confronted her, pulled her into an abandoned home, and then raped her. For about the last month now, authorities were hot on his case. This morning, we now know he is in custody behind bars here at the Highland Park Police Department, and they say they caught him last night around 11 o'clock. The details pretty clear. They actually were calling for a press conference last night around 6 o'clock when that press conference was abruptly canceled. And why? Because they got a hit on the suspect in a home that he had been staying in because they found his cell phone. They then went through his cell phone, found on Facebook that he had just updated his status from Chicago. And in Chicago, he had mentioned how he was back on his way to Detroit. And last night around 11 o'clock, they caught the suspect on a bus coming back from Chicago. So this morning we're learning more details about how all this went down, about 4 homes that agents were sitting on. I'll share those details with you at 6:30. We're now live in Highland Park. I'm Nima Shafei, 7 Action News.
A 12-year-old girl. Surveillance video shows him grabbing the victim right off the street. CBS 2's Janelle Burrell has the story from the Bronx.
The disturbing attack stunning residents in this West Farms neighborhood. The victim just 12 years old. Her alleged attacker, police say, not much older, in his early to mid-teens.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Investigators say he randomly snatched the 12-year-old as she walked home alone around 6:30 Tuesday evening. The suspect telling her that if she screamed, he would kill her. The surveillance video shows him as he first attempts to drag the girl into these 2 buildings on East 179th Street. After realizing the doors were locked, he then takes her to this alley on Daly Avenue, where investigators say he raped her.
Me just hearing all of this bad news and walking to school and home by myself, it's kind of scary.
Police say that little girl somehow managed to pry herself loose, escaping, running out of this alleyway. The suspect followed her out, and then police say he ran off in the opposite direction.
Extremely horrific, and I hope they get the kid and hopefully he goes down for this crime, because no female should be ever be victimized or violated like that.
The victim ran home to her mother, who called police. And this community filled with young children, many parents now using extra caution.
I walk with my daughter. I don't want to leave her alone. So that's it.
For that very reason, police continue the hunt for the little girl's attacker. In the West Farms section of the Bronx, Janelle Burrell, CBS 2 News.
A cheerleading coach accused of inappropriately touching children, and tonight police say there could be other victims. The coach and teacher is facing molestation charges. Police say he is the co-owner of Rush All-Stars in Claremont. News 6's Amanda Castro is at that gym with where the investigation stands tonight.
Police say so far 3 victims have come forward alleging that their coach inappropriately touched them inside this gym, and investigators worry there could be more. We watched as someone associated with the World Cheer Center placed these no trespassing signs in front of the building. This is where Claremont police say 39-year-old Vigilante Haiti, the co-owner of the facility and head coach of the Rush All-Stars, inappropriately touched children.
It's been an ongoing investigation over the last 4 months. The detectives have worked very diligently on this.
Investigators say the first victim came forward in January. Police say their investigation prompted the U.S. All-Star Federation, which credentials coaches, to suspend Haiti, and he wasn't allowed to work at the gym. Then detectives say 2 more victims came forward. Police say at the time of the incidents, the victims were 14 and 15 years old. The allegations dating as far back as 2013 and as recent as last year. Police worry there could be more.
He's worked with children for many, many years, so we are unsure at this time.
Investigators say Haiti worked at other gyms across Central Florida, and he teaches at Cypress Creek High School in Orange County. The school district tells us Haiti was placed on leave in January, and they're investigating. Police urging parents to talk to their children and say something if something feels wrong.
You do trust those individuals that you're leaving your children with because that's what they're doing. They're coaching children. Just be mindful of their surroundings. Have the kids talk to your kids. You know, if something doesn't feel right, it doesn't seem like right, it's probably not. So just make sure that you're talking to your kids.
Haiti was arrested on Sunday and has since been released from jail. We tried calling him and the gym, but we haven't heard back. Reporting in Claremont, Amanda Castro getting results.
This county teacher now under arrest tonight, accused of sexually abusing a student. Lonnie Elias Jr. now on leave.
He was a performing arts chairman at Largo High School in Upper Marlboro.
Fox 5's Josh Rosenthal live at the school with more details on this. Josh?
Yeah, Jacqueline Jim talked to a lot of Largo High School parents here tonight, and many of them sounded like this.
It's just surprise, it's shock. You would just think that with policies in place that this wouldn't have happened.
According to police, a woman told them on September 30th that she had been sexually assaulted by Elias from 2015 to 2017 when she was a student at Largo High. Elias, the school's band director, was her teacher. Investigators say they interviewed Elias on October 2nd, notified the district on October 3rd, and that's when Elias was placed on leave. He wasn't arrested until today in Upper Marlboro after a grand jury issued a warrant for sex abuse of a minor and other related charges. In a letter sent to parents, the district said Elias had worked at Largo since 2007. They also called this disheartening news and said any behavior that brings harm to a student will not be tolerated in any way. Tonight, we're also hearing from the state's attorney about the case.
Any allegation that a school official has abused a student, it's heartbreaking, it's disturbing, and it's outrageous. If there are any additional victims out there, whether it was at Largo High School or another school in this community, please come forward. We will start by believing you.
Tonight, we also made several attempts to reach out to Elias, but didn't immediately hear back. Guys.
Safety alert in Miami Beach after a substitute teacher was arrested and accused of human trafficking.
Police say he would actually sell vape pens to middle school students and would also accept sex instead of cash. Local 10's Terrell Fournay is live with really shocking details on this one. Terrell?
And we're talking about cannabis and nicotine, and some of the victims were as young as 11 years old. Enrica Nolasco is a former substitute teacher with the Miami-Dade School District, but police say his most current role was an illegal one, supplying drugs and electronic cigarettes to students at Nautilus Middle School in Miami Beach.
They are easy targets for adults, and oh my God, it's horrible.
This is Mr. Nolasco. Hey, good morning, Your Honor.
The 32-year-old appeared before a judge over the weekend for a series of charges that include illegally selling the products, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and human trafficking.
That one is punishable by life. That's no bond.
The victims were primarily female students between 11 and 14 years old.
Doing this to the kids, I don't know what kind of mental disease do you have to order that to the teenage kids who are just on the path to learning.
Nolasco's arrest report says he befriended the children on Snapchat under the nickname Swaggy and arranged face-to-face meetings with the kids where he would sell them electronic vape pens, marijuana cards, and nicotine. The girls also disclosed that Swaggy was willing to accept sexual favors as payment. Detectives say they have phone and computer evidence of sexual material he allegedly both received and sent to those underage girls.
I hope it's going to be a justice, and I hope he's going to be punished.
And Nolasco, who last taught as a sub at Miami Beach Senior High, actually lost his job 4 years ago with the district over an investigation involving improper conduct with a student. The district released a statement late this afternoon saying that they are deeply disturbed by these troubling allegations, but they reiterate that he is a former employee who is precluded from seeking future employment with the school system. Again, he's being held without bond. Reporting live from Miami Beach, I'm Terrell Fournay.
Relief for Tulsa sex crimes detectives after a huge victory in court.
40-year-old Eric Farbs will spend the rest of his life behind bars after raping a then 10-year-old family member and getting her pregnant. 2 News reporter Liz Bryant found she's not the only victim and not the only relative. Liz joins us now with new information. Liz?
Well, Russ, detectives tell me Farbs, they know of 3 of his victims in this case, a 10-year-old, 13-year-old, and 14-year-old. They tell me he preyed on girls with developmental disorders, but first had to get to them, so he dated women with young girls.
Presented to the DA's office.
Detective Kathy Steele has worked the last year here at Tulsa's Justice Center to put this man, Eric Farbs, behind bars.
This is a difficult job, so when I get news like this, it's just very, very rewarding. It makes it all worthwhile.
Detective Steele met Farbs' latest rape victim in April after she complained of abdominal pains and swelling. A pediatrician found she was 21 weeks pregnant. The 11-year-old told detectives Farbs started repeatedly raping her at age 10 and then threatened to kill her if she told.
She knew it was wrong. She knew what was happening to her was wrong, but she didn't understand. And then obviously the pregnancy, she had no clue that the two were even related.
Detective Steele says this case is infuriating because Farbs could have been stopped. A few years before, he got his then girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter pregnant, and a judge reduced that to a misdemeanor. Then Farbs dated another woman and married her, and is now charged with inappropriately touching 2 girls inside that home.
if something would have been done the first time or even the second time, maybe she would not be in the situation she's in today and will be affected for the rest of her life by.
As for his latest victim, after many complications, the now 12-year-old gave birth 2 months early. She's now raising her baby with the help of family.
She went to school pregnant in elementary, so her friends and everybody that she's associated with, I'm sure, are aware of what happened to her. So, I mean, I'm sure it will be definite long-term. She's definitely going to need some counseling, probably for the rest of her life.
And detectives tell me they immediately matched the baby's DNA back to Farb's. DHS is closely monitoring that family. Liz Bryant, 2 News.
And we thank you for joining us here tonight on In Focus. I'm Jamie Costello. A basketball coach at an East Baltimore Elementary Middle School remains in jail tonight after police say he sexually abused a 13-year-old student. In Focus reporter Brian Kubler is here now with the details of this disturbing story. Brian?
Jamie, 26-year-old Carl Trusty said the relationship was consensual, but Baltimore City Police had to explain to the man there's no such thing when it comes to a 13-year-old girl. It's Easter break for Baltimore City Public Schools. Collington Square Elementary and Middle School is closed for the week, which may have been the only thing holding at least one grandparent back.
If I knew that that's what he was doing up to school, like I said earlier, I would have beat him up. For him to be molesting kids like that, that's just out of the question.
Because not only does Miss Debbie, 62 today, send her grandkids to the neighborhood school, it was her younger cousin police arrested. But relation didn't stop Debbie Trusty to vent what many on this block were feeling today.
He gets what he deserves, cousin or not. Go for anybody. Anybody want to do that to a child, you're supposed to be helping the kids. You up there doing what you're doing to the kids. You need to be locked up. Somebody need to do you.
And somebody did. Carl Trusty was arrested after police were called to the school on April 7th. It was revealed he was in a sexual relationship with a 13-year-old student. He's now charged with a litany of sex crimes, including rape and sex abuse of a minor. But today, police said, sadly, their investigation may not be over.
These incidents could have started as early as late 2016. Again, we're still investigating this matter, and we also believe that the possibility exists that there could be additional victims.
Which is a legitimate concern for not only police, but parents and guardians of all the children who go to Collington Square, kids who knew and interacted with the basketball coach, now locked up in the Baltimore City jail.
I'm appalled about what's going on. My grandson, he's one to go there, she goes there. All these kids out here go to Collington Square. All of them know him.
Meanwhile, Carl Trusty will remain in jail, arraigned today. The 26-year-old is now being held without bail.
A Baltimore County woman charged with shooting her husband over accusations that he molested children at the daycare center she owns will remain in jail in Washington, D.C. This morning, a judge ordered Shantari Weems stay behind bars ahead of her next court date, which is in August. Now, we told you last week that Weems was arrested after shooting James Weems Jr., allegedly, in a hotel room in Washington. Her lawyers say she fired in self-defense when she confronted him about those molestation claims. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren, he's live in Washington, D.C. He was the only Baltimore television reporter in that courtroom this morning, Mike, which I understand was very emotional.
Denise, there was some drama. People were angry about this decision and began yelling at the judge, both in the courtroom and those watching in an online feed. Now, the judge explained essentially that she cannot consider the motive at this phase and that Shantari Weems should not have taken the law into her own hands. An emotional scene outside of the courthouse where friends and family of Shantari Weems comfort each other moments after a judge orders her held without bail. Weems owns a daycare in Baltimore County. She's accused of shooting her husband James Weems Jr. over allegations he was molesting children there. The violent encounter happened at a luxury hotel in Washington, D.C. last week, where Weems, a retired Baltimore City police officer, was on a work trip on a security detail.
Regardless of whether or not you feel like what she did was justifiable, she was protecting children.
Obviously, she's disappointed. Her attorney, Tony Garcia, argued she shot her husband in self-defense.
She was emotionally shattered. And as she went down there asking him what happened, he went from 0 to 1,000 He came at her, and she had to defend herself.
The prosecutor alleges Weems never told police she was scared of her husband, and the judge explained the reason she confronted him is not a factor the court considers. Weems, handcuffed and wearing an orange jail jumpsuit, wept inside the courtroom. Family, including her mother, declined to speak to WJZ. We did obtain an affidavit from the detective who interviewed her. He described a bloody scene. One bullet went through her husband's neck. Another remains lodged in his thigh. Police say Shantaria Weems wrote in a notebook that James Weems is scum. I hope you get beat up in jail. I'm going to paralyze you. And I want these kids to get justice. My only regret is that I didn't put the bullet in your head. She apologized to her babies at the daycare, writing that she did not know about the abuse.
Being behind bars and taking your freedom from you is hell.
And right now, James Weems remains in custody here in Washington. We're told that Baltimore County Police are going to pick him up on Monday and bring him back to Maryland to face justice. He is facing at least 3 charges of molesting children at the daycare. Reporting live at Superior Court in Washington, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. Our big story on 12 News at 10. The I-Team digging deeper into the past of the nurse accused of raping and impregnating a disabled patient.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Gonzalez in for Mark Curtis. Tonight, we get a glimpse of that suspect, Nathan Sutherland, when he was just a teen in Gilbert.
Team 12's Bianca Bono joins us live in the studio. And Bianca, you talked with people who knew the suspect in high school.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to classmates who tell me Sutherland was a nice, fairly popular student. We're learning he was on the football team, and his coach described him as a motivator. They're all still trying to process that the boy they knew from Mesquite High School is now accused of raping a woman who couldn't defend herself.
I'm still kind of in shock.
Rachel Stafford can't believe it.
Almost everyone who knows him would have never expected this from him.
Like many across the nation, the Mesquite High School teacher hearing the news about an incapacitated woman at Hacienda Healthcare who was raped and impregnated.
I was kind of shocked, like, how could anyone do this?
She never thought the suspect would be a former student.
I looked it up. I was like, oh my gosh, I know that kid.
Stafford teaching Nathan Sutherland's English class during his sophomore year from 1998 to 1999. Sutherland, now 36 years old, facing charges of sexual assault and vulnerable adult abuse. Something Stafford could have never predicted.
Fairly popular kid, well known, and you know, just kind of happy-go-lucky at the time.
Stafford finding this message in her old yearbook. Sutherland writing, "Thanks for being a good teach this year. Have a cool summer, from Nate."
As a teacher, you wonder, you know, what led someone to do this.
Stafford's husband, one of Sutherland's football coaches at Mesquite.
He would have never thought that this kid who was a leader and a motivator would have turned into a person who would commit a crime.
After high school, nursing records show Sutherland completed the nursing program at Fortis College in Phoenix, ultimately passing his practical nursing exam in 2011. But police taking a DNA sample, ultimately linking him to the heinous crime of raping and impregnating a disabled patient. His former teacher and football coach left wondering what went wrong.
I just really hope that justice is served.
And the Arizona State Board of Nursing now investigating Sutherland. The board will be meeting tomorrow afternoon to discuss suspending his license. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Bianca, years ago, the Bay Area thought it had a missing child's case on its hands, only to later discover a dark and disturbing truth. Right now, convicted killer Granville Ritchie is sitting on death row for the rape and murder of 9-year-old Felicia Williams back in 2014. But Ritchie says he doesn't belong there. He claims prosecutors broke the law, and now he's appealing his death sentence to the state Supreme Court. Fox 13's Gloria Gomez monitored the hearing today and shows us the evidence justices are weighing.
Man-sized hands that placed around the throat of this little 9-year-old girl.
Prosecutor Scott Harmon's passionate arguments for death to the jury in the Granville Ritchie case are now under the microscope. The Florida Supreme Court microscope. Ritchie, who was convicted of killing and raping 9-year-old Felicia Williams and sent to death row by the jury, is now appealing his death sentence. His attorney claims Harmon inflamed the jury in his closing arguments and violated what's known as the Golden Rule law, a suggestion made to the jury that it place itself in the victim or defendant's position. That improper argument encourages the jury to focus on personal interests and biases instead of the evidence. The justices had a lot of questions.
Because what he said was, can you imagine the dread of knowing that your life is ending and you're feeling pain all over your body? And then he describes that in fairly graphic detail. And then he said, and that pain would have been greater for a little girl. So I'm trying to figure out how that's not a Golden Rule violation.
It's at the very best a close call.
The attorney representing the state conceded Harmon went up to the line but didn't cross it. Rick Buckwalter pointed out Harmon was describing the heinous nature of the crime and made an off-the-cuff statement. Richie's attorney pounced.
There is no way that is true. Mr. Harmon is a veteran prosecutor, has been prosecuting homicides for 20 years. He wrote out this argument. He gave it to colleagues, I guarantee you, and tested it. This was deliberate.
All right.
Now the justices will have to decide if that's true. Gloria Gomez, Fox 13 News.
The justices did not rule today, but if Richie wins his appeal, he'll be granted a new sentencing trial, and that will determine whether he gets life in prison or death.